Breaking news that's just come in is that the Saudi club has submitted a record bid for Kylian Mbappe. Fabrizio Romano has reported that the bid has come in for 300 million euros, which is a record bid for any player. Currently, I believe Neymar has it for his move from Barcelona to PSG, but this is set to top it, and obviously that was a few years ago now. The club is Al Hilal, obviously part of the Saudi league. We've seen a lot of players this transfer window make their move there. Ronaldo, arguably the biggest name in world football ever, is already there, but he's very much kind of finishing his career there and earning a decent wage because of it, although this would be definitely the biggest move that we've seen. This window, I feel, has completely been overshadowed by the Saudi league transfers. They've probably got some of the biggest names have gone there this window. If you think about all the moves that have actually changed clubs. As we've mentioned in previous videos, you know, they've got the current Ballon d'Or holder, they've got Benzema there, they've now got Ronaldo, they've got N'Golo Kante. Fabrizio Romano's here we go, even the likes of Jordan Henderson. I know a lot of people would say he's not the best player ever, but he's Liverpool captain, obviously a big club. A lot of the Chelsea players have gone over. Riyad Mahrez rumoured there, Koulibaly, Ruben Neves. I mean, the list goes on. I started to think the other day, if you actually put a list together of all the players that have actually gone there this window and put together a combined Saudi 11, it's starting to look like quite the strong league. And for a while, myself as a Premier League fan and someone who watches that, you'd always think that we kind of had the monopoly there, and we've been fortunate enough to see a lot of the talent get drawn to the Premier League as they could offer a lot more money. However, it seems Saudi are doing that now, and I mean, this would be the biggest statement of the lot. I read they were putting together a package of about 700 million per year for Kylian Mbappe, which is absolutely massive. Although given his age and whatnot, he's, you know, some people would already say he's the best player in the world. For me, I probably have to agree with that now. You think of the likes of Messi and Ronaldo, they're obviously past it now. And the likes of him and maybe Haaland are probably seen as the younger generation coming through. Haaland's already at Man City. Mbappe's only got a year left on his contract. A lot of people asking questions about where he's going next. We've seen, you know, there's a famous image of him in his bedroom as a kid with all these Ronaldo photos on the wall. We know he's a Ronaldo fan and you know, admirer of his, which has always led people to believe that he was going to Real Madrid. There's been a lot of rumours in the past of Real Madrid having agreements and little deals in place to see him go there. They're obviously a massive club too, who can pay the wages. And we've seen them sign Jude Bellingham this year, which has probably been the biggest transfer, or maybe the biggest name, or the saga. Everyone was kind of wondering where he was going. Again, it's due to his age and being a young player, and you can see him probably being there for the next few years. And when that kind of happened, for me, I felt like Real Madrid have probably reasserted that they are that club. They are the top tier. They are the pinnacle of football. You know, if Jude Bellingham came out and in all of his interviews, he's basically said that same thing, that, you know, the minute Real Madrid come calling, you just kind of have to go. And we saw Ronaldo when he was at the top of his game at Man United. He obviously went to Real Madrid, and they had all the massive transfers. You know, the list of names that have played for Real Madrid and even Barcelona has to be said as well, are just absolutely massive. Even when Hazard went there, Bale, Zidane, you know, all these names that they can just draw to the club. For a bit there, I kind of thought, is the draw still there, especially as you see other Premier League clubs coming along now, being able to offer the massive wages, the likes of Haaland when he went to Man City. I kind of thought that might have been a turning point. And you even see the clubs that are recently promoted in the Premier League can now sign the superstars of the Champions League. We've seen Kylian Mbappe go to the likes of Nottingham Forest. Not to have a dig there or anything, but obviously they're down the lower end of the Premier League, not pushing really to win anything. They're just more hoping to stay up and stay in the league, and we see him go to the Premier League. So I think that said a lot in terms of the money they can put out and kind of where the clubs are and who's battling who's on the same level playing field. But yeah, so for a while now, you think if Mbappe's contract's coming up, PSG have kind of come out and been very vocal. They don't want him to let him go for free, which means he either has to be sold this window or he needs to sign an extension. If he does neither of those things, he's gone for free next season. And then I guess he's got the pick of the bunch in terms of where he gets to go. So yeah, if he goes to Saudi Arabia, I guess that's a huge statement. You know, people came out and they were very opposed to the idea of the Super League, all these clubs coming together, having all this money, being able to bring in all the players, and it kind of leaves all the other clubs hanging, I guess, and just fighting over what's left. But it seems there's almost been a very small turn of events now where we've seen Ronaldo kind of go there and kind of lead the pack, because it seems like everyone's going to follow. And as I just mentioned before, we know Mbappe's a big Ronaldo fan, so, you know, the fact that he's there, is it even more likely he's going to go there? I mean, the money that they're offering in the contracts is absolutely astronomical, so it's going to be really hard to turn it down. But again, as all the talent is slowly shifting across to the Saudi League, all of a sudden it's no longer a place that you can just go there kind of retire and see your career out and earn a bit more money and play that slightly lower level. It almost seems the more players go there, the league is actually on the way up. And Ronaldo's come out in a lot of interviews and he said that he thinks in a few years it will be one of the top 5 leagues in the world, which obviously you'd have to say Europe kind of hold those top 5 leagues. But at the time when I heard that, I thought maybe he's just trying to boost it up. He's obviously playing there, so he has to be a little bit biased. He's obviously trying to kind of reinforce and kind of validate himself and his move to go there, trying to kind of argue that it is a good quality football and the standard's quite high. But, there's an element now when I've seen the players that have gone there, I do genuinely start to believe him now. And I think that, as we're seeing more and more players go there, the teams are getting better and better. And as time goes on and the future generations, they see their idols go on and play there, all of a sudden these clubs are looked at a different light. If a player goes to a club you've never heard of, you kind of lose interest. But if you kind of start to see the same players going to the same clubs, same league, they're all playing each other, more eyes are tuning into that Saudi league, and all of a sudden they're kind of put themselves on the world map. I mean, anywhere where Cristiano Ronaldo goes is obviously going to claim headlines, and definitely if Mbappe goes there, it's almost going to be like the league to watch, because as he gets better and better, as he gets a little bit older, he's certainly seen it as the world superstar. So yeah, it's breaking news, and we're not quite too sure if he's going to accept that. We saw that PSG have agreed a deal, or at least the clubs have kind of had an agreement there, and it's more or less personal terms for Mbappe, whether that's the move he wants. It's going to be hard for those clubs to turn out that kind of money. If you're willing to sell a player who's gone for free next year and you get offered 300 million, you're obviously going to be keen to take that, especially given the amount that they paid for him. That would more than cover the cost. And obviously all the wages that they've had to pay to him since. But yeah, I just kind of thought I'd put it out there because, if you are Mbappe now, is your goal, you've won the multiple French leagues there while you've been in France, but you'd think that his plan is then to win the Champions League. But is that still the mentality of all these players? Because as we've seen, as I've pointed out, we're seeing so many players just go to the Saudi league because that's where the money is, and as the competition slowly builds and gets better and better, it's now actually a pretty decent place to go play football. You're not playing at a low level. You're not just taking it easy. The level is actually quite high over there, and it's only getting higher. So if you're Mbappe, you think, actually, I can go play in the Saudi League, and that is a decent level of football, and they're going to pay me a substantial amount. And as time goes on, I don't know if there's going to be a new arrangement where if it does get better and better and better, whether there will need to be some kind of, not Champions League, but there might need to be a way where teams of different countries can come together and play each other, similar to the Super League, but it's not going to be European if the Saudi team's involved. So Mbappe's definitely got a decision to make on his hands. Does he want to go to Real Madrid, which I guess is the pinnacle of European football? The amount of Champions Leagues that they've got there is insane. They are almost favourites going into every single campaign. They get over the line when it seems impossible. Is that still, every kid's dream growing up to earn that, to try win that trophy and compete for them at the very least? Or, are young players' heads turned? We've talked in a previous video about Ruben Neves, where, he's a young player, 24, going into his, he's 26 going into his prime, better and better, looking for that move. He had the options of Barcelona and other European clubs. He's kind of given that up to go to the Saudi League, so he's kind of choosing money, I guess, or income or lifestyle or whatever it might be ahead of that. So all of a sudden, these bigger clubs are losing their draw now because it's not the biggest club necessarily that can offer the biggest money and the trophies on offer. There's now another thing at stake, which is the salaries that they can pay. So if you're thinking about your family and your kids and your grandkids and all the future generations, all of a sudden that's a lot to consider. So yeah, it kind of begs the question, if Mbappe goes out, I think it's a statement, a really big statement that'll be just for football in general and European football for sure, because for a while I think they've held the monopoly there where all the best players have ended up in Europe. And from a personal point of view, I've always felt that the best players ended up in the Premier League, at least for a bit there, where the last few years where the salaries and the wages have been able to be so high through the TV rights and the money that they can draw in. But at the same time, we did see the likes of Suarez, who was at Liverpool, go to Barcelona, and as I mentioned, Ronaldo go to Real Madrid, even Hazard leaving Chelsea. It still felt like, there were the two Spanish giants that could really claw any player they wanted. They still had that pool there. But now, if the likes of Mbappe, who's the best player in the world, if he's going to choose Saudi over Real Madrid, I think that sends a big statement to everyone else in football. But yeah, that basically does it for today. I just want to go on, put my thoughts on there and kind of ask those questions. If you guys have any thoughts, certainly chuck it in the comments below. Give it a like if you want to see more videos like this where, we discuss trending topics. But otherwise, I've been Ant, this has been Red Mate, and thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.